Hello and welcome to part 2 of our video tutorial, Learn French in 4 Weeks. In this video, I will tell you how you can enlarge your vocabulary. I will tell you how to build more complex phrases and sentences in French, and I will show you the difference between the polite French and the not so polite French. So stay tuned. My name is Sven Frank. I'm director of the Speed Learning Academy, and this video is a part of our Polyglot project. We are learning 12 languages in 12 months. So in the last video, I told you to mark all the verbs in the vocabulary glossar. You can't see it at the moment. Now you can see it. The vocabulary in the back, mark all the words that you understand at first sight. For example, anniversaire, anniversary, or région, region, or alcohol, aventure, adventure, couleur, color, famille, family, and so on and so forth. And then I told you to mark all the phrases in the textbook that you understand at first sight. But if you are an advanced learner of French, because you have learned French in school and you are just having a refreshing course here, then mark the words that you do not understand. Always focus on those parts that give you a better feeling. So highlight those parts that you understand if you started from zero to hero, and highlight those parts of the text that you understand not if you are advanced and want to and don't want to waste too much ink of your highlighter to mark all the passages. Yes, so if you're a beginner, highlight those parts that you already understand. If you are advanced, highlight those that you do not understand. Always mark the part that is less than the other one. So you're intelligent and enough to understand what I'm talking about. Now, the next step is go through. So far, you have ignored all the grammar and all the exercises. The second step now is go through that book again, or the Assimil course, or whatever text or book or manual you use. Go through it again, and now have a look at the exercises. Have a look at the grammar, but only focus on that exercises and grammar that you are interested in, that are fun for you, that are motivating you, and skip all the others. And look up the modal verbs. Modal verbs are verbs like I want, I have, I must, I have to, I must, I should, I could. These are modal verbs. In French, it's pouvoir, vouloir, devoir. These three. Instead of 5, only 3. And with these modal verbs, you can use any verb after that without knowing the irregular structure or without changing the verb. Because after a modal verb, the other verb always is used in the infinitive, in the basic form. So for example, je veux manger, I would like to eat. Je dois travailler, I have to work. So you will simply use the infinitive after a modal verb. So the only forms that you need to learn right now to express a lot of things in French is the forms of the modal verbs. Okay? So je peux, tu peux, il peut, nous pouvons, il peut, vous pouvez, ils peuvent, and so on and so forth. So that's the next step. Look for the modal verbs. And ask yourself how to ask questions in French and how to build relative clauses. Okay? How to ask questions and how to build relative clauses. Look up this part in your grammar, in the grammar of your book or in the internet, whatever you prefer. You can also go through the vocabulary in the back and just read along and keep in mind what you can remember at first sight. For example, maybe you like the word chien, dog, because you have a dog. So chien, voilà, mon chien, here's my dog. This might be something that is easy for you to understand. Or porte, la porte, the door, because a port is the door to the ocean. Okay? So keep those words in mind that are easy for you to remember because they have a kind of connection that you can link to something that you already know. What else do I have on my list? Play the audio material of your course in the background while doing the course and the cooking and in the bathroom and at night all the time so that your brain becomes used to French and feels comfortable with French instead of feeling that this is something noisy it cannot understand. And yes, and then start reading if you really want to improve your French fast. Start reading The Little Prince. Alors, Le Petit Prince. The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince. You can combine or compare, not combine, but compare the texts and read aloud for about 1 hour per day with quite a strong voice. I'll give you an example. So stand up and talk with a strong voice. Read with a strong voice. For example, lorsque j'avais 6 ans, j'ai vu une fois une magnifique image dans un livre sur la forêt vierge qui s'appelait Histoire vécue. Ça représentait un serpent boa qui avalait un fauve. Voilà la copie du dessin. If you worry about the pronunciation, just look up at YouTube, Le Petit Prince, and you will find videos where you have the text and the audio read by a native speaker. And you can reduce the speed of the video, and then you can listen to the pronunciation. This will enlarge your vocabulary also, because you like the story, you know the story, and it's elegant French. It's not everyday French that you speak on the street, in the street, but still it's very smart French. Coming to being smart. English does not make a difference between a polite form to address somebody and a not so polite form, like formal and informal address of somebody. In many other languages, we have this difference between formal and informal ways to address somebody. In French, as you may have noticed, we have vous, which is the polite form and the formal form, and tu, which is the not so polite or informal form. Now, if you talk to people who are born French, they will give you lots of explanations what to keep in mind when talking about vous and tu. For you as a native speaker of English, if you have never ever had contact with these forms, there are lots of rules that you might want to keep in your mind, but this is something that I would like to leave to those who study French. The simple rule is, if you want to be polite and if you want to show your respect to somebody, you always say vous. You always use the formal version. Always use vous. The only exception is children till the age of 16. So always use vous, and you will always be on the safe side. If somebody says tu to you, you can say tu to this person, but always start with vous. The other aspect is vous is also a kind of signal for good education and for high social status. And as you would like to have contact to people who are well educated and who have a high social status, use vous in any situation you come to. And make sure that when talking to native speakers, focus more on people who say vous to you as well, because they will open doors to a higher status and to a better educated group of people. So that's the general easy rule. If you're interested in the complicated one, just ask people who speak French as mother language, and they will show you that it is different between the north and the south in France, a difference between online and offline, difference between different countries. So in some countries where people are used like where French and Arabic is spoken, you might say vous to your grandfather, but you might say tu to your janitor. So it's really very complicated if you dive into it deeply, and not even French people always know these etiquette rules. So simply start with vous, and if the person says tu, you can continue with tu, and if the person replies with vous, just make sure that you get a good contact with this one person. Yes, that's all for today. If you want to go deeper into French or any other language, then just contact us on speedlearning.academy. We've got a contact form there for you, and just fill in the form and we can have a chat on the phone and discuss the different options that you have to improve your language skills in whatever language you want. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for any comment. Until next time, bye bye, au revoir et à bientôt.